Hello, children. How are you all? Today we are going to learn a new topic. And before that, what is my dialogue? Please share and subscribe. And don't skip the video. Watch the video completely. Okay? And then today we are going to start the session with a breathing exercise. When you breathe in and out with a deep breathing, and when you breathe out with an humming sound, your brain will be stimulated and it will enhance your focusing power, that is concentrating power. Okay, so we will also do the breathing exercise before we focus in any concept. Come, let us do. Breathe in, hold for some time, breathe out, again breathe in, hold, breathe out, slowly breathe in, hold for some time, breathe out slowly. Blood transports food, oxygen, and other waste materials in our body. And we have learned all these things in our class 9 itself, that blood is being a fluid connective tissue, and it consists of the fluids as well as the cells which are suspended in it, the plasma and the RBC, WBC, and the platelets, isn't it? Now, in this plasma, no, it transports the food, carbon dioxide, and nitrogenous waste, children. That too in the dissolved form. Whereas the oxygen, no, how it has been transported with the help of RBC, that is red blood cells. And like this, many salts are also be transported by blood, children. So we need a pumping organ. Yes. So this pumping organ only will push the blood around the body, and there will be a network of tubes. They are called the blood vessels. So to reach all the tissues and the systems in place to ensure that this network can be repaired if damaged, children. So come, let us see the human heart. What is the structure and what are the various parts, and then how do the human heart functions. Come, let's go. So human heart, if you take the human heart, as already told you, it is a muscular pumping organ. It is made up of cardiac muscles, and the blood is pumped into the blood vessels only by this pumping organ. So it works round the clock. Okay, it is enclosed by a double walled pericardium, and where it is located above the diaphragm in the thoracic cavity, children. You know what is thoracic cavity? So we are just, you recollect all the concepts from your lower class, children. And then where it is situated between the lungs, slightly tilted towards the left. So this is the place where the human heart is present in the human body. And then what is the size of the human heart? It is one's own fist. Understood? So when you close your palms, no, you get one shape. So that shape is the human heart shape. That is one's own heart shape, children. Let us learn the structure in detail, children. So, if you look at this picture, you will come to know what are the various parts the human heart we have. So, the superior vena cava and the right atrium, pulmonary valve, and the tricuspid valve, and the right ventricle. If you look at the right hand side, that is the blue color side. And if you look at the left hand side, which is in red color, you will have the aorta, pulmonary artery, and then pulmonary vein, left atrium, and the mitral valve in between the chambers, and then aortic valve and the left ventricle, children. Now this is the internal structure of the human heart, children. Again, you'll have the same structure as we have seen in the external part. What is the difference between external and the internal is that is, you'll have inferior vena cava here, and then the cardiac muscles will be shown very clearly here. Okay, so now let me explain the what are the bloods which has been coming into the heart, inside the heart and going out. Okay, so if you see the superior vena cava, which brings the blood from the upper part of the body, and then the right atrium will receive and it will push the blood towards the right ventricle by the tricuspid valve on the right hand side. You are clear? Then like that, the inferior vena cava also brings the blood from the lower part of the body and which will also pour the blood into the right atrium. So, heart is the three-dimensional shape. So, the inferior vena cava will also give the blood to the right atrium. So, the right atrium again receives it and it will push the blood towards the right ventricle, children. So, heart is a muscular organ. It is as big as our fist. Yes, and then because both oxygen and carbon dioxide have to be transported by the blood, isn't it? So the heart has different chambers. Okay, so to prevent the oxygen-rich blood from mixing with the blood containing carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide rich blood no has to reach the lungs for the carbon dioxide to be removed, and the oxygenated blood from the lungs has to be brought back to the heart, children. So this oxygen rich blood is then pumped to various parts rest of the body. Okay, so in order to prevent the mixing up of the blood and the backflow of the blood only, the heart is separated by the chambers and they are separated by the walls, children. Now let us see the functioning of heart, children. So now the blood from the various parts of the body will enter into the right atrium through the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. So the right atrium will relax and receive the blood, and then it will push the blood into the right ventricle by contraction. So now the right ventricle will relax and receive the blood, and this right ventricle will again push the blood into the pulmonary artery. So this artery only takes the carbon dioxide rich blood into the lungs for the exchange of gases. Okay, so here there is a tricuspid valve which receives the blood from the right atrium into the right ventricle, and this right ventricle will push the blood towards the pulmonary artery. So this artery only is going to take to the lungs for the exchange of gases. So there the carbon dioxide is given and the oxygen is taken. So now this oxygen rich blood will enter into the pulmonary veins in the left hand side of the heart, though they will enter into the left atrium. Okay, so this left atrium will again relax when it receives the blood, and now it will contract and it will push the blood into the left ventricle. Now this left ventricle will be relaxed by carrying the oxygen rich blood, and it will push the blood into the aorta. This aorta only is going to take the oxygen rich blood and it will supply to various parts of the body. Our heart has all the four valves in it. So in it, the tricuspid valve is the one which allow the blood from the right atrium to the right ventricle, and it has the three leaflets in it which open and close and allow the blood to flow from right atrium to the right ventricle. And there is a pulmonary valve is there. It is located between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. This valve also has three leaflets and it also open and close to allow the blood to flow from ventricle to the lungs for purification. And in the left hand side, between the left atrium and the left ventricle, there is a bicuspid valve, which is also known as the mitral valve, which allow the blood from the atrium to the left ventricle. And there is another valve in the left ventricle, that is, it is between the aorta and the left ventricle. So here the left ventricle will allow the blood to enter into the aorta. This will be carried to rest of the body. Understood? The aorta carries the oxygenated blood which comes from the lungs to rest of the body. Is that clear, children? So when you see the functions of the valves, no, the valves they respond any changes in the blood pressure and they allow the direction of the blood flow in one direction only. and then they work efficiently so that the blood will flow continuously to rest of the body, children. That's the function of valves. So, human circulatory system or the transportation system consists of heart, blood vessels, and the blood cells. In that, the arteries, veins, and capillaries play a major role, children. So, if you take the arteries, no, they are thick walled, and then the veins are very thinner, they are thin walled. Okay, and the capillaries are very thin when compared to the veins, children. So now let us see the functions of arteries, veins, and capillaries also. Children, arteries are the blood vessels which carry the oxygenated blood from the heart to rest of the body, where the oxygen and nutrients are exchanged with the tissues. And these arteries are the one which regulate the blood pressure. Okay, so they will change in response to the blood pressure, either constriction or dilation. Constriction means they will contract, or the dilation means they will relax. So depending upon the change in the blood pressure, they will contract and relax, children. And then all the arteries usually carry the oxygenated blood, except the pulmonary artery, which carries the deoxygenated blood. Okay, children, that's the difference. Only the pulmonary artery only carry the deoxygenated blood. Now, coming to the veins. So, these veins always carry the deoxygenated blood from all the parts to the heart. From where it collects the deoxygenated blood? It collects the deoxygenated blood from the capillaries, from the tissues. So, the capillaries receive the deoxygenated blood from the tissues all over the body, and it will give to the veins. So, the veins in turn take the deoxygenated blood to the heart. Yes, and from there the heart will pump it to the lungs through the pulmonary artery for oxygenation. Okay, so generally all the veins carry the deoxygenated blood, and here also one exception is there. The pulmonary veins take the oxygenated blood from the lungs. Clear? Next, what is the function of the capillaries? The capillaries are the blood vessels which allow the exchange of food, oxygen, and the nutrients and the waste materials between the blood and the tissues. So, usually they are very small vessels, the tiny vessels. So, they used to carry the oxygen, they used to carry the waste materials from the tissues, and that is, they are the bypass between the veins and the tissues, we can say. So there will be an exchange of food, waste materials, and the oxygen and the carbon dioxide between the capillaries and the tissues, and the capillaries in turn give it to the veins, children. So how we can measure our heartbeat, children? So usually with the contraction and relaxation of the cardiac muscles, isn't it? So an adult heart usually beats 60 to 100 times per minute. So that is beats per minute, we can say. So this is the way we can measure the heartbeat, children. So, your contraction of the cardiac muscles, heart muscles, is known as the systolic pressure, we can say. Your relaxation of the cardiac muscle is known as the diastole. It is the diastolic pressure. Hope you understood all the concepts, children. So, I'm going to give you a home assignment. How can we measure our heartbeat? Please comment your answers. Once you finish off any concept, no, just close your eyes for 5 minutes and recollect all the concepts, and then take any paper or pen which you have in your hand, and then you write all the points. Okay, usually when you take points, no, it will be there in your memory forever. Instead of learning for hours to hours, take a pen and paper and write what are all concepts you learned in 20 minutes. Okay. See, usually human brain no will focus only for 20 minutes. So take a concept or take any subject for 20 minutes, focus on it, and then leave a 5 minutes break. Close your eyes, sit for a while, and then take a paper or you take one separate notebook for any subject you select, and then write that what and all you learned in that 20 minutes. So you practice this, you'll really think that you have the memory power increased. You have enhanced memory power increased. Okay. So you would have understood the functioning of heart, the pumping organ, how it works, and what are the parts it has, and it is working around the clock. Yes, it's not taking any rest. If it take rest, what happens? The answer is yours. Okay, children, hope you would have understood all the concepts about the human heart. Okay, so the question and answer session will be in the next video. Thank you. Take care and all the very best for your board exam.